Morning. It's Thursday, September 9th. And this morning I want to talk about this $3.5 trillion spending bill. Joe Manchin of West Virginia has privately warned the White House and congressional leaders that he has specific policy concerns with President Biden's $3.5 trillion social spending dream, as he called it, and he'll support only about $1 trillion of it. Now, this guy has been a pain in the ass from the beginning. He comes from a state that is largely Republican, and he's the only Democrat there, and he's fighting to keep his job as much as doing right for the country. Now, he may have a lot that he's correct about, but he is a thorn in the side of the Democrats. And he will continue to be a thorn in the side of the Democrats. This $3.5 trillion bill is passed through, or will be passed through, using reconciliation, because it's a budget matter, so it can be passed without any Republican votes. But Manchin is acting like a Republican. So that's one thing that's happening with this bill. And I'm not sure I agree with every single thing that's in this bill. There's $400 billion for home health care people. I guess that's if a husband stays home and takes care of the wife, and the wife stays home and takes care of the husband and stuff like that. We have those packages that went out in the last spending bill, relief bill, those tax credits. So all of that has been piled into this $3.5 trillion bill. In this bill, there's universal pre-K, there's free community college, and many other social things that are admirable that seem to have fallen by the wayside in this country. But Manchin has taken a position that I partially agree with, since I don't know how we're going to pay for this thing, and I know that nobody has really come up with a concrete plan and told anybody how they're going to pay for it. Manchin has said he will support anything they want to do as long as we have created a new revenue stream to cover the costs of anything we want to do. That's a reasonable position, except we know the way we've been doing things. We've been doing a lot of stuff right now on deficit spending. And so I don't think anybody really realizes how we're going to get this new revenue. And according to what they're telling us, if it's supported by new revenue only, then this can't be a $3.5 trillion package. It'll be a $1.2 trillion package. But there is something that is called dynamic scoring. I never heard the term before, but apparently it has been used. And the last time specifically that it was used was for the Trump tax cuts, where they argued that the cuts will lead to dramatic increases in profits, and therefore there will be big tax revenue if we go ahead and cut the taxes and allow the businesses and individuals to have more money in their pocket to spend. And they expect that money that these people get, they expect that to be spent to grow the economy. That is essentially what this dynamic scoring is all about. So the Democrats planning to use this theory, this plan to offset their soft infrastructure spending by using this dynamic scoring gimmick. And why does that matter? Well, it matters because the total size of the Democratic-only reconciliation bill will depend upon how much of that bill can be offset by new revenues. So they're going to use budgetary smoke and mirrors to show that this bill can work and that this bill can be passed. because by using dynamic scoring, which is a hit or miss proposition at best, they can convince people that this bill can be passed and we can pay for this bill easily. I don't know if easily is the right word. Now, of course, some of this bill will be paid for by some deficit spending. We don't need deficit spending. We got enough deficit spending. We're in the hole for enough money right now. So the first thing I would do if I was a Republican or fighting to not pass this bill is try to prove that the dynamic scoring that was used with the tax cuts worked or didn't work, right? We have a prime example, only a couple of years old. Did dynamic scoring work? Well, one could say it worked because the economy did boom for a while, but our deficit keeps rising, our debt keeps rising. Dynamic scoring has been used by the Republicans many times, apparently, and they've been using it to show that the tax cuts really are smaller than they were. So now we flip the coin, and the Democrats are going to attempt to use dynamic scoring. Not all Democrats are in favor of dynamic scoring. In fact, Bernie Sanders, who is the exact opposite of Joe Manchin, Sanders is willing to spend more than $3.5 trillion if he could get away with it. But he has called dynamic scoring a gimmick to help justify more tax cuts for the wealthy and profitable corporations. Well, of course, we know how Bernie feels about the wealthy and the profitable corporations. He doesn't believe in profitable corporations or wealth. He would like everybody to make a good living and live comfortably. And that's okay. I would like the same thing. Bernie goes too far, as does the squad. Truly, there are some conservative economists that are happy that the Democrats have found what I will call a new religion, dynamic scoring. The experts, these budget experts, are arguing that you have to factor in the productivity gains from more education and better health care into the overall economy. And that makes perfectly good sense to me. If people are healthier and they're better educated, then they will contribute more to the economy. But nobody can come up with an exact, precise number that dynamic scoring is worth. So it's a guessing game. And historically, I don't think our politicians have guessed correctly most of the time. So I'm going to leave you with this mishmash right now, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.